collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, and cross-watchers. Welcome to our Timeless Chakra Reading. I am your reader, Angelo, Lyons, Mal for short. Not bad, it's just spelled that way. I am a professional witch, a professional intuitive, the president of DrawingTheCircle Productions since 1998, author of 2 books, Spell Ingredients from a Professional Witch, and Words of Grace from a Professional Witch, with a 3rd one on the way. Words of Grace does have a Kindle version of it available in a link in the description box. You can click that link and preview it for free and see the table of contents amongst other good stuff in the beginning there. And you'll see it's mostly in chakra chapters. This is a chakra reading and many people have found it helpful. Essentially a book of prayer. And it's beautiful, the Kindle version. It's very clean, it's very pristine, but the original version of Words of Grace, which compared to Kindle is a Fellini film fest of color, is over on patreon.com/DrawingTheCircle in our digital shop, as well as the only place at the time of this timeless recording where you can purchase my book, Spell Ingredients. The first one, the 3rd one, is in process and sending some of the passages and the book cover mock-ups to my subscribers. You do not have to be a subscriber to shop in the store. We have audios and videos as well as the ebooks in the shop, and the audios and videos now have free previews, about 2 minutes, so you can dip a toe if you like. Some of my subscribers get those ebooks, audios, and videos as part of their subscription package. In fact, God's Goddesses, our top tier, gets everything available. But the majority of my subscribers, subscribers, get 3 benefits in common. A daily check-in. I send them an unlisted YouTube live stream link pretty much every single morning. Did this morning. It was great. I love it. It's my favorite thing to do. We chat about the day's astrological weather, the magical applications, the spiritual implications, always ending with a prayer, a blessing, a little something, something to send us on our way. Best way for me to start the day, considering what I do for a living day in and day out. They also get all the extended readings, the part 2s to the part 1s here on YouTube. All of my extended readings are timeless and relationship stuff based. That's the truth. As well as they get an extensive discount when they book me for private sessions, spiritual counseling, readings, and all that. We'll talk about that at the end of the video if you want more info. And you can follow us for free, making more and more exclusive as well as advanced content for the free followers. My subscribers get to see that stuff too. As well as you can 7-day free trial us as a seeker or a human. Our first 2 levels of subscription. Jump out the last video if you like, but if you want the discount on readings and spiritual counseling, you gotta stay for a month and book me within the month, because that's only fair. I checked with my lawyers, they said that's only fair. And I love it. It's the best thing I've ever done. The digital shop is wonderful. I love that we're getting more and more people just following along for free. That's just so cool. I love it. So click the link, check it out, look at the menu. We got a lot of cool stuff going on there. Shop in the store for sure. And come play Patreon on Patreon, because I am the Archangel of Lyons, Angelo Lyons. But you can just call me Mal. Hey, my Libras. I said our Timeless Chakra Reading because I have Venus in Libra, 3rd house, Leo rising that I am, Virgo Sun, Pisces Moon. You can feel the gig. So let's do some explanation for our new Libras and cross-watchers to fill them in on what's going on here for this chakra reading. If you've heard it before, feel free to jump ahead. Oh, right, that's that way, not that way. So, welcome, new cardinal air sign Libras and cross-watchers. Let's get down to business here. We're doing a chakra spread. Usually, when I do this with a client, there's 1 card for every chakra. Actually, a lot of cards per chakra with oracles and whatever is needed. This is a simplified version. Only 5 cards to cover all of this. So we're going to start with 1 Caroline Myss archetype card. Caroline Myss is the author of Anatomy of the Spirit, which is where I learned about the 8 chakra system. So this will be the archetype, her book Sacred Contracts, to indicate what's going on in our 8th chakra that acts as a satellite, sending down the codes, if you will, to the other chakras underneath it, shifting our electromagnetic fields, what we attract and what we repel, so we have the opportunity to no longer delay what cannot be prevented in our healing, our awakening, whatever you want to call it. So we'll get one of those for the 8th chakra. We'll talk about that more when that one hits the table. The next 4 chakras down: crown, third eye, throat, and heart. We will get one Daughters of the Moon tarot for the internal feminine energy, your creative intuition, cardinal air, creative air, might be helpful, usually is. We will look at the lower 3 chakras, the sacrum, the solar plexus, and the root with the mythic tarot, the masculine yang dynamic, looking at ourselves from the outside, us from the inside, looking out at people, places, and things, relationships in the physical world in all sorts of different ways. Once those are on the table, we will get one Whisper of Love from the Whisper of Love Oracle. This deck is consecrated to the higher selves of all involved, to give a little clarity, a clue, a tip or hint, a little whisper of love, to bring this into alignment. And we will end with a Matt Kahn healing mantra, which I have said it before, I will say it again. Air signs have an edge with affirmations and mantras and chants and stuff like that because it's element of air. And this is a healing reading, but it may not be only about physical healing. It might be about mental, emotional healing, spiritual healing, financial healing, healing in relationships. It can be all that in a side of fries holographically. So these work if you work them. I highly recommend the deck. So there's our explanation. Let's get down to divination. The shift from explanation to divination happens in the still point. So both feet on the floor if you can. Focus on your breath if you will. I promise I will do anything within my power to help anybody come into alignment, to bring the inspiration in the 8th chakra down into the manifestation of the root chakra and out into the world. Because as one of us heals, all of us heals, because that's quantum unity for you, ain't it just? All right, let's do this. Please take a nice deep breath. Still point. Pantheonic override. A place for everything. And everything in its place. Put all where it belongs in time and space. For the well-being of all and with harm to none. As we will it, so let it be done. Beloved pantheons of the divine, one card in clarity, please, for us Libra collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, and our cross-watchers who are watching this video and drawn to this reading. What's going on in that 8th chakra, indicating the spiritual alchemy? 3 atoms in between lead and gold that must be transmuted, transformed, released, forgiven, surrendered for this Timeless Chakra Read for us Libra collective and our cross-watchers for this Timeless Chakra Read. Ooh, the divine child. Let's talk about it. The child archetype, regardless of divine or wounded child or orphan child, magical child, any of that, is a member of the survival family archetype. There are 9 different families. Everybody has the 4 archetypes in the survival family. This is all in Sacred Contracts by Carolyn Mays. Survival, it's the trunk of the tree, if you will, and all the other archetypes are branches. So the health of the trunk of the tree is essential to the health of the rest of it. The child, regardless of sub-pattern, the sub-pattern here would be the divine child, one of my favorites, is innocence and safety, right? So wounded child, magical child, eternal child, doesn't matter. It's the guardian of innocence and safety, because when the child in us feels safe, it's up for anything, right? Seeing the world with fresh eyes. But if it doesn't feel safe, it's not up for anything, right? We've all been there. So written on the card is the shadow attribute and the light attribute. I call this lead, this gold, 3 atoms in between that cannot be created or destroyed, only released, transformed, forgiven, whatever you want to call it, healed, right? This is pretty powerful stuff. The lead, inability to defend oneself against negative forces. That was my childhood, man. It really was. It made me a really powerful witch, though, for surezies, right? And not just from the external world, but from, other aspects of the astral plane, right? Ghosts and spirits and demons and all of that stuff. Yeah, no, I was doing this from a very, very young age. So the light we are shooting for, and this touches me so deeply, innocence, right? Innocence and safety. purity and redemption. I think I've redeemed myself, yeah, a lot, right? Suggests a special connection with the divine, right? Well, we're all children of the divine. We're all the divine child, right? From a larger point of view. So, you know, how do we access that? How do we access that innocence in this world, which really does not reward innocence? But I will say, innocence, a part of it is knowing that you don't know, but you're willing to be shown, right? Like children know they don't know, so they can learn anything, like even other languages. But as we grow and evolve and take on more stress and more conditioning from the outside world, not to mention our families, right? We become more and more narrow. Now, for Libras, that can bring us out of balance pretty quickly. So to connect with that, your special, unique relationship to the divine here, because that's beautiful. That is a beautiful thing. And even in its shadow, it's not necessarily toxic, but an inability to defend oneself against negative forces. That sounds like empaths who haven't learned boundaries yet. And who's born knowing boundaries? I only learn them from our family and society. Yeesh. So let's get the next 4 chakras down with the Daughters of the Moon Tarot. Please take a nice deep breath. Still point. Get my feet in the right place. My goddesses override. A place for everything and everything in its place. Put all where it belongs in time and space. For the well-being of all and with harm to none. As we will it, so let it be done. My beloved goddesses, please, one card in clarity for us Libra Collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, and our cross-watchers. What's going on, heart, third eye crown, so we can alchemize the divine child in the 8th chakra for this timeless read. Okay, 9 of Flames on the inner, the Wanderer, a Romani woman with her wagon there, just one wand away from the completion, and in this deck, the completion, the 10 of Wands, would be the 9 of Wands, the 9 of Flames here, element of fire. It's like you're almost there, you're in the last 9 yards, but the 10 of Flames is a card of celebration in this deck. It's not that, you know, exhausted, overwhelmed kind of vibe. So I will say there is a defensive part of that, right? Rider-Waite Tarot, what you looking at my wands for, right? There may be that. There might be some boundaries being set inside of you just to get you to the completion of the element of fire, what we yearn for, what we burn for, what our hearts desire, right? So there is a divine connection here that to sometimes say, okay, this is what I want. I'm almost there. I can feel it. I feel that in a lot of ways in my life, having moved up here. It's like I'm still getting it together. I moved from Long Island to Saratoga Springs, New York, so there's still things settling in here at the time of this timeless recording. But this is the wanderer. Not all who wander are lost. You don't need to necessarily, like, does a child really need to know until it needs to know, right? There is a certain innocence available here by saying, I don't know, I'm doing my work. I'm feeling the fire. Maybe there's great passion here. I will say throat chakra in a reading like this usually manifests as throat chakra, the element of fire, choices, decisions, free will. So of course there's always a choice involved here. But if you look in this card, the sun is either rising or setting on the horizon. Not all who wander are lost. And sometimes following our inspiration, it's part of it to not know. And I was like, is this going to make it? But we're almost there. Almost there. So sure, even that sense of psychic, emotional boundaries and protection and stuff like that, but so that child feels safe. That's our job. Oh, we can wait for the world to help us do that. Dicey at best, but we can do that. We have that power, particularly through our connection to the divine, whatever you call it. Now, really, I call the divine unity, right? It's just everything. One light, infinite lenses, and change up your lenses because there's always a higher truth. Let's get to the lower 3 chakras. Outside in, inside out, relationships in the physical world. Please take a nice deep breath. Still point. My gods override. A place for everything and everything in its place. Put all where it belongs in time and space. For the well-being of all, and with harm to none. As we will it. So let it be done. Oops. Come here, you. My beloved gods, one card in clarity for us Libra Collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, and our cross-watchers who are watching this video and drawn to this reading. What's going on? Lower three chakras, outside in, inside out, so that we can be aware and alchemize what's going on. The Divine Child in the 8th. 9 of Flames, the Wanderer on the inner for this timeless read. Ooh, another fire card. This time a page, the Page of Wands. Now, I don't immediately associate the pages with zodiacal signs. We've got kings, queens, and knights for that. Cardinal, fixed, immutable, 4 signs, 3 of the royals, 12 signs of the zodiac, where the pages are messages as well as messengers, right? So yeah, somebody will send you a message, but you know, it's the electric bill, right? It's the message itself, not necessarily who sent it. But certainly, Page of Wands, it can be very, very inspiring, right? Carrying the ace, right? Bringing some fire into there. And if you look at it, oh my God, that makes the 10. There you go. Now you got 10 wands, 10 flames, however you want to see that. Now, I will say, because these are messages as well as messengers, you know, general read, this may be coming to you or coming from you, right? Something that you put out into the world, or something from the outside that comes in to give you that extra little oomph. It could even be as simple as somebody reaching out and saying, hey, I believe you. You got this. You know, hang in there. I say that at the end of pretty much every reading anyway, because we will. We'll work it out this lifetime or next. I just want to nail it this lifetime. My motto is leave it on the dance floor, and the other places to incarnate in this multiverse we find ourselves in. So, you know, this can be very, very inspiring, right? Especially if that child gets excited and it's feeling its alignment with the divine there. That's lovely. This feels really wonderful. So remember, not all who wander are lost. Look it up. It's a rather powerful quote in its entirety, the context in which it is in. So, you know, you're on a journey, right? You're on the divine child's journey of awakening and healing. And, you know, redemption is hard. Like, you redeem a coupon, right? Play with the word. Look up the original meaning of the words. And you may find that all of the struggle that you went through is redeemed. Like, you're redeemed. It's like you had to go through it. It was what was scripted. It was written in the quantum coding, whatever you want to call it, shifting to a happier, healthier timeline. Loving this. Let's get that whisper of love, the voices of the higher selves of all involved. So this isn't just the Libras and the cross-watchers. This is from anybody who might be involved. But this, I mean, depending on whether that Page of Wand is coming to or coming from, this could be a solo gig. Please take a nice deep breath. Still point. Higher selves override. A place for everything, and everything in its place. Put all where it belongs in time and space, for the well-being of all and with harm to none, as we will it, so let it be done. Beloved higher selves of all involved, 5th dimension and above, 8th chakra and above, what is the whisper of love, the piece of information, inspiration, and insight needed by us, Libra Collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, and our cross-watchers to alchemize our shadow to light, our lead to gold, our pain to peace, shifting from toxicity to health, from fear to love, from illusion to truth, to alchemize the divine child in the 8th, 9 of flames on the outer, Page of Wands on the outer for this timeless read. Rest and relaxation is essential. Libra just got that. No, Virgo just got that. I'm Virgo sun sign, and you saw how long I take to shuffle these. I shuffle them before I get on camera. I shuffle them while I'm explaining it, and then again. So rest and relaxation is essential. It's a double whammy for me. We all have a fundamental need to take breaks. So this might be the child needs a nap, right? That divine child needs a little break, particularly if you consider yourself or experience yourself as a vibrational, energetic, emotional empath. Just watching the news, man, just even scrolling through whatever, and there it is, and you're feeling pain, you're feeling the suffering, you're feeling the negative forces, right? It's very easy for that child to want to run and hide, but this is saying that the nervous system is taking on too much, and rest is a necessity for healing. You need it. You can't always, let's scrub our chakras with Brillo and bleach, right? And there are processes that feel that way, but then you need to let it all integrate. That's what the rest part of it is. And by the way, if we're always trying to control our healing, control, that's cute, right? Then where does the divine come in, right? Unless we're completely in unity consciousness where we are fully aware that we're all divine, depending on the day, right? Then this is something where you say, all right, I surrender, right? The baby needs a nap, and that's okay, because when our nervous systems get inflamed and overtaxed, the personality that rises out of that is the ego at its worst, right? So it's the shadow. So it doesn't feel like there's much more of a weight here, whatever this is. Whatever's going on with that 9 of Flames, that Page of Wand coming in, it does make it 10. So maybe there is a completion of a heart's desire here, but now it's like, okay, well, my guides say it to me rather often. They say, kid, because they love calling me kid, do you want hot batter or cake? Let it bake, right? Relax. That's receptive. And it doesn't mean we don't take action, but it feels like until this Page of Wands is either given or received, or maybe both, we don't have the complete puzzle yet. So it's okay. It's okay. I like this. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with this so far. However, we got one card left. The Mat Khan Healing Mantra from the Ascended Masters. And again, air signs, we have an edge. We have an edge with the verbal stuff, right? The mantras, the chants, the affirmations, and all of that. But we can also use them in really, really hard ways on ourselves. I love myself, I love myself, I love myself, I love myself is a bit much, right? And gentle makes things go faster in my experience. Let's do this. Last card down. Please take a nice deep breath. Especially if you're an overthinker and a Virgo like me. Still point. Ascended Master Override. A place for everything and everything in its place. Put all where it belongs in time and space for the well-being of all and with harm to none. As we will it, so let it be done. Beloved Ascended Masters, what is the perfect and precise healing mantra to assist us, Libra Collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, and our cross watchers, to alchemize the shadow to light, the lead to gold, the pain to peace, so we shift from toxicity to health, from fear to love, and illusion to truth, with that divine child archetype in the 8th. 9 of Flames, the Wanderer on the inner, Page of Wands on the outer, resting and relaxing, because everybody needs to take breaks. What's a perfect healing mantra to do just that for this timeless chakra read? Processing grief. Losses prove how deeply I love. Now, I could call this a womp womp card, but here's the T. This might be a loss that has already happened. Right? Can be something from the past, hence the need to rest and relax and let this integrate. There are 4 ego wounds, according to Mat Khan: abuse, neglect, codependence, and loss. I got all of them, because most of us do, right? Maybe you were abused, maybe you weren't. Maybe you were neglected, maybe you weren't. Maybe you were involved in codependent entanglement, maybe you weren't. I don't know anybody like that, by the way. But everyone has the wounds of loss, right? No one escapes from that. Loss of anything. So processing grief. See, the thing is we're not really taught how to grieve. It depends, I guess, on, family and society and stuff like that. But I watched a TED Talk. I bet you can find it on YouTube. That's where I watched it originally, a bunch of years ago. And the woman was talking about how grief repressed turns into anxiety. It's like walking on eggshells, right? So that fear of loss, right? If it's not processed, you got an anxious kid inside of you. It's just afraid that at any moment that loss is going to happen again. So you could see how without grieving in a healthy way, there are unhealthy ways to grieve as well, I suppose, but to each their own. And it takes as long as it takes, right? And of course there's therapy and groups and healing and just people to share stuff with and talk with and have safe space. But ultimately, this is about going to the divine and saying that there is no loss without gain eventually. So processing grief. Going to read, it's the only bookie book in this spread. So let's get to it. Processing grief. My losses prove how deeply I loved. I mean, that is so powerful. My losses prove how deeply I love. Now, when my cat, Sebastian, died last year, I let myself feel it fully. And I know he's going to reincarnate probably as a female. I have a feeling, a little black cat. So, but that didn't stop me. I didn't rationalize myself out of it. I processed the grief. So, when grief is processed, you are able to notice the maturity you gained even when losing the people, places, and things that once defined your sense of self, because that's object identification. That's objective, right? It changes, right? Base your identity on something that can come and go, and you're going to have personality crises. Can you feel that, right? It's like that's building your house on sand. Oh, look, I just gave you New Testament for a witch. As you process grief, you are able to celebrate how deeply you committed to love instead of holding a grudge towards those who left or couldn't love you back. That wasn't the case with my Sabby, but, you know, it's a heartache. Nothing but a heartache sometimes. Once grief is fully processed, it can ignite a deeper commitment to love. Like loving yourself and loving that child in your heart. You know that your alignment with Source is not a matter of what comes or goes. It is determined by how much of yourself you're willing to share. And that is hard after loss, to share, right? You feel like you've given, I give, I do for you people, right? But that's why processing grief is the alchemy from lead to gold. Because we're eternal beings that keep reincarnating here and elsewhere, apparently. So we're just part of a larger plan, and there is no gain without loss or loss without gain. This mantra is ideal for opening back up to love. That could be here on the table. Rebuilding trust, that ain't easy. But what about trust in the divine, huh? And addressing heartache. It's a heartache, nothing but a heartache. Oh, dear God. Dear Goddess. So, we're going to put this together in a blessimation. If you're new, it's a combination of the word blessing and summation. We came up with it over on Patreon. I just like to explain it to get it out of the way. After that, we'll talk about cool stuff if you want. But for right now, last time for this reading at least, please take a nice deep breath. This is going out to all them divine children out there. Still point. May we end as we began. Pantheonic override. I call upon the collective pantheons of the divine for us Libra collective sun, moon, rising, Venus signs, and our cross-watchers who are watching this video and drawn to this reading. May we be blessed with all that we need to alchemize our shadow to light, our lead to gold, our pain to peace, shifting from toxicity to health, from fear to love and illusion to truth. With the divine child, embracing our innocence, purity, and redemption, and embracing our special connection with the divine on this wandering journey. We may not know exactly what to do, but we are in those last 9 yards to bring this into fulfillment and completion with some news that comes in. Maybe it is news that involves loss, or maybe it's something that really helps us to process our grief, because it becomes collective sooner or later. It's not just about this loss or that loss. It just becomes this part of the shadow that can make us very childish and afraid. So may we get the rest and relaxation that we need, because it's essential, because we all have a fundamental need to take breaks so that we can process our grief, our losses, proving how deeply we loved. For happier, healthier, wealthier, wiser lives. In a happier, healthier, wealthier, wiser way. For a happier, healthier, wealthier, wiser world. For the well-being of all, and with harm to none. As we will it. So let it be done. So motivate. And so it is. And they just dropped a memory into my head. I was in therapy when the towers came down, 9/11 and all of that. And I said to my therapist, brilliant, a Course in Miracles student married to a Wiccan. It was really the perfect match ever. I said to her, there are all these things that I want. And I get so close, and as soon as I come in reach, they tear away, right? They tear off. And she goes, that's because you're dragging a dead elephant behind you. She was right. It's that unprocessed grief. That's psychic weight. This is the perfect reading for that, but you have a more mystical, spiritual, innocent way into this than purely trying to tweeze out all of, the feelings and the emotions and under a microscope and all of that. So use the mantra if you can. And I think this is a wonderful reading, and if you find it helpful, please hit the like button. It helps other Libras find it. And look, as one of us processes grief, there's less anxiety on the planet, right? That enough is worth it. And if you want more of me here on YouTube, please subscribe. I'm not stopping. I get a kick out of doing this every day, pretty much every day. But if you want the deeper dive, come Patreon on Patreon. The daily check-ins alone are amazing. I love them so much. Not every single morning. I do my best, I'm a busy witch. But, my subscribers do get those daily check-ins. The majority of them get the extended readings and the extensive discount. All of my subscribers get the extensive discount. We'll talk about that in a minute. But, my free followers are wonderful. We're getting more and more of them every day, and that really drives me to say, ooh, like I put Marianne Williamson's A Return to Love audiobook on there, right? Just for them. You have to be on Patreon to see that, but sometimes I do advanced stuff, right? Like they will get it like a couple of weeks before everybody else if I put it on other platforms. And remember, you can 7-day free trial as a seeker or human. Gods, goddesses get everything, but that's a monthly subscription. So if you want, the extensive discount, stay for a month, right? Even as a seeker, $3 a month, you get the same discount as the gods and goddesses. And shop in the store. Oh, go look. The free previews are pretty good. They're about 2 minutes long, both for the audios and videos. That's all my back catalog that I did when I lived on Long Island. So I'm making all new stuff this year and next, particularly in preparation for the new book. So as much as I've experienced a great loss in my life, I have to say Patreon has made a huge, big deal me moving forward. So click the link, check it out. Even if you want to be a creator, they're wonderful over there. Come Patreon on Patreon. Because I'm the Archangel of Lyons. Angelo Lyons. Just call me Al. And keeping a sense of humor is helpful, right? That divine child, one feels safe to come up with humor left, right, and center. So if you want to book me for a private session, spiritual counseling and or readings, we call that a half and half when we blend them together, there is a video in the description box called Booking Private Sessions with Mal. Explains everything you need to know about booking a reading with me, what I charge, why I charge it, the Patreon discount, and all of that. What I do and what I don't, my boundaries, like confidentiality, really, really important to me. Whether it's in person, I'm doing readings at the Magic Moon in Saratoga at the time of this timeless recording. You can contact them directly. There's certain days I'm scheduled there. They tell me you're coming, I come in and I read you. As well as I'm setting up an office downstairs so I can eventually take clients in my house, but I gotta get to know you a little bit before I invite you over, Virgo, cross your legs. And the majority of the work that I do is on video, obviously. Got clients all over the place now. And we do it as a Zoom recording. I send the client the link to jump into the Zoom chat. We record the whole thing as the cards hit the table. At the end of the reading, I send them a link so they can download the reading so they don't even have to take notes. The whole thing is recorded. And then they tell me they deleted it and I delete it from the cloud. Confidentiality is key, man. Big time. I've had my confidentiality betrayed so many times that has become a solid, hard ethic for me, a boundary that I will not cross. But the most important thing I say in booking private sessions with them, look, it's still there, is that I've never turned anybody away because of lack of finances. I won't do that. Where there's a witch, there's a way. I'm a witch, so there's a way. We always work it out. And certainly it is, taking private sessions is really what lights me up. It's probably what I do best, and you can't really do that in a general read because we get to go so deep. So, if you want to book me, just watch the video. My mom likes it. I did it for the 25th anniversary when I finally raised my prices after 25 years, but now I need to make a new one because I moved and there's more stuff going on, so we'll get there. So watch the video. It's fun. I love that bit. It's a lot of fun. And my goodness gracious, look, this may involve inner child work, probably probably, anytime the child archetype is there. But also think that as you're doing that, you are helping every child on planet Earth, and the child within everybody as well, even if, it don't look that way. So process the grief. You'll have less anxiety. And I'm saying that as a personal experience, not just giving you words, right? I live this stuff, and that's why I'm glad to share it. So thank you so much for watching. I love us Libras. You hang in there. We've got this. I love you. Heal, hail, farewell, and blessed, blessed be.